Hello everyone, and welcome back to the highly anticipated return of the BHL Hudson Reddit segment video. It's been a while since I made one of these. It's been a little while since just regular videos. Obviously, as you know, I put out my short film, Green Eyes, which I'll talk about more in another video sometime this month, I hope. And then I've been to a little summer house trip, and as you may be able to see, I got a little bit of sun, unhealthy food consumed, in the words of Cody Ko.
I've packed on a few extra LBs.
But I'm finally back here to make some videos, and let's start off with a Reddit video because it's been so long. We're up to 187. I thought it was at 137. We're up to 187 members on the Reddit. Great stuff. Also, yeah, I have not looked through this at all since the last time. There's going to be a lot of stuff here, and I'm very excited, so let's go. In case you don't know, by the way, this segment is where I go through my Reddit, where you guys can post anything, questions, memes, just general things, and I'll go through it and talk about it. So, let's do this. I think this is where we stopped off last time, because we talked about Hellstrom. Favorite video game? Let's start there. Anyone in the subreddit got a favorite game? I would say Last of Us. Personally, I am not a huge gamer, which I know is surprising given that I'm a huge nerd and like pretty much everything else, but I just never got like the big consoles. I loved the Nintendo DS and then the Nintendo 3DS as a kid, and still do. I'll still crack it open occasionally. I mean, Lego Batman has got to be one of the most iconic. Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart are also obviously great. I've played other video games like at friends' houses. Like I've played GTA, I've played Call of Duty a bunch. Genuinely, this is gonna be, I don't know how this will be received, but I would say genuinely my favorite video game ever is an app that used to be a Flash game called Kingdom Rush. And there are also multiple sequels to it, Frontiers, Origins, Vengeance. And it's a game I played when I was quite young. I loved it back then. Recently, I got it again, because now there's like an app for it. Just an absolute blast. I mean, I know it's also nostalgia, but like putting on something in the background, like putting on some UFC or a YouTube video or a podcast or something. I listen to the TMG podcast, and then just playing some Kingdom Rush. Just a lovely, little relaxing thing. So yeah, highly recommend playing Kingdom Rush if you haven't. It's like a tower strategy game. It's silly and fun, kind of in the vein of those Lego games. It has like a fun sense of humor. Great stuff. So that's my favorite video game, I guess. Which companies, movies, TV shows are you looking forward to most? Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, Lionsgate, Sony, other. I mean, I know it's kind of like a meme that I talk about Marvel a lot. I'm big on Marvel, all that. But I mean, it's kind of hard to go against Disney. Like, they do, just for my interest, like, I love the MCU, and they do own the biggest franchises. It's not to say that there isn't good stuff coming out of the others, but just, like, in terms of stuff we know about for the future, it's kind of hard to go against Disney. Although, the DCU slate is looking pretty great. Are you doing an Oscars 2021 movies video? No, I'm sorry, I'm not. This will be an embarrassing admission to the fans of a movie channel. I have not seen a single one of these films yet. That's where we're at. That's what 2020 did to me. I'm planning on watching Nomadland. I've heard Trial of the Chicago 7 is great. It just kind of slipped away because they didn't come out in the cinema, obviously, at least where I am. And then I was kind of busy, and then the season passed a bit. And now I still want to watch them, but it's just, because it's not leading up to the Oscars, there's like less of a sense of urgency now. It's funny, 2019, I was like, I think I saw every Oscar movie maybe, or like almost all of them. And I was like, yes, I am a movie reviewer. And this year, none of them. So 2021, we're stepping our game up. All right. I hear you're a Mission Impossible fan. Since I know you really like the franchise, you should watch this video by Patrick Willems. All right. I will add it to my watch later. Last Night in Soho. How high are your hopes for this movie? By the time the next video, it will be out. So, what are your thoughts on... It's basically like, what are my thoughts on the trailer? I thought the trailer looked great. It's definitely a different vibe than what we've seen Edgar Wright do before. It seems to be his first non-comedy film. Because even like Baby Driver is very comedic. And it seems to be more of a thriller, horror kind of thing. And I'm here for it. As you know, not the biggest thriller horror fan, but I definitely can appreciate it and enjoy it when it's done well. And there's no one I would trust to do it well more than Edgar Wright. Like as someone who hasn't really done it before, for the first time, I imagine he's gonna do quite well with it. I also enjoyed that the trailer doesn't really give away that much. It's a bit of like a Nolan-esque trailer, that it gives a vague premise, but doesn't really go too much into it. It gives more of a sense of the tone, which is what a trailer should do. Sounds like a cool premise. Yeah, it's still my number one most anticipated film this year. It kind of sucks that it got pushed to October, because it just means I have to wait longer for it. But that also means I'll probably get to see it in the cinema, because now cinemas are reopening, so... yeah, extremely hyped for it. Favorite Chris Nolan film? I think I've said this before. For me, it's Inception, even though, I say that with a poster of, The Dark Knight Rises behind me. But Inception is my personal favorite. Honestly, a show I'd recommend is F1 Drive to Survive on Netflix. Best documentary. It's got countless people to love F1. Yeah, I'm not really an F1 fanatic, so maybe that's a good place to start.
I'll put it on the list.
Hey BHL, I'm a big fan of your channel, and I would like to ask you, what would be a movie that you would recommend to anyone? Not based on the quality of the film, rather on the message it delivers. Whew, that is a good question. I was going to say, just a movie I would recommend to anyone, a recent one, would be Mitchells vs. the Machines. It's very Spider-Verse and Incredibles-esque in the sense that I feel like anyone of any age can enjoy it. In terms of, a movie that the message is exactly, I would want everyone to see that message. My instinct, my knee-jerk reaction, and some of you have probably guessed this, would be either Rocky or Creed. Just because for me personally, those movies, especially Creed, the message of the film genuinely has affected my life and improved my life and changed my life for the better. The whole one step, one punch, one round at a time. And just that general concept that are in a lot of boxing films of, getting knocked down, getting back up, not giving up, pushing yourself as hard as you can, and finding the right motivations, finding within yourself to achieve your dreams, all that stuff. It's just, those are films that are brilliant, lesson-wise or moral-wise. A lot of kids' films also have great lessons. Kung Fu Panda comes to mind. Off the top of my head, I would say Creed. Plus, just if I was to recommend it to a film to recommend to everyone, haven't come across a single person who didn't like that movie. It's exciting, it's fun, it has great characters, and it has a great message. I could go on about Creed for hours. All right, let's move on before I do that. What's a good film that has aged with you or watched at the right time? I'm not quite sure what this is asking. A film that I watched at a certain point in my life when it was really good to watch it, and then it's kind of kept with me throughout the rest of my life since then, is what I'm guessing this is sort of asking. I don't want to be boring and just say Creed again, but that would definitely be one of them. The Office is something that I think I watched at also the right time in my life, but that was just a very fun show at a good time, I feel. Someone responded to this also saying The World's End. Yeah, the Edgar Wright films. That could be a bit of a shout. I just remember watching those in the summer of 2017 and listening to the World's End soundtrack throughout the whole summer in the lead up to Baby Driver, talking to my friends about it, and just those are I kind of tied to that time. I guess I could go with that. Cornetto trilogy when I was about 15. What movie set, rant, burst of anger is more legendary? Bale or Cruise? They're both equally amazing rants. You gotta give it to Bale, because Bale's is more funny, I guess. My thoughts on the Tom Cruise, we talked about it in the podcast. I think he had a good point, following the COVID restrictions and everything. Probably could have said it in a somewhat less terrifying way.
We are creating thousands of jobs, you I don't ever want to see it again. I see you do it again, you're gone. In the future, the industry.
But also, we don't know the circumstances of it. But the Christian Bale one, just it made me laugh so hard when I first heard it, because also it was over significantly less of a thing from what I understand. Wasn't it because someone walked in his line of sight, which I get is annoying, but to absolutely explode in the way he did, it's kind of very iconic.
Do I walk around and rip down? No, shut the up, Bruce. Do I want? No, don't shut me up. Then why the are you walking right through? Like this in the background. What the is it with you?
I was looking at the light.
Oh, good for you.
Movies, series discovered in quarantine. New Girl, definitely be one of them for me. I watched Westworld towards the very start of the quarantine. I like the first season of it a lot, and the second two not as much, but I did watch that. And UFC. I know it's not a show or movie, but I really got into UFC since the whole lockdown thing, and it's provided me with great entertainment throughout. So, favorite actors or actresses? We actually recently did a podcast episode about this, so I will just go and sneakily look at my picks for that. And these are not necessarily the most Daniel Day-Lewis most nuanced performances every time. These are just the actors. Some of them are, but these are just the actors that I like most. Ryan Gosling probably is my number one. Just so much diversity in what he can do. I think The Nice Guys really pushes me over the edge, because he has so many like great dramatic roles like Drive, but his comedic side and hit the different angles of his comedic side, like in Crazy Stupid Love, he plays that character so well. And then The Nice Guys, this like 70s terrible detective character that he's playing, and the banter and the Shane Black writing, he does it so well. He's just and then everything he does in La La Land, just a very charismatic, fun actor who is also great at what he does. The Rock, kind of an easy one. I mean, bro. That just says it all right there. You know, his movies are not always the best. Most of the time they're not at all the best, but he's just super fun and charismatic, and he's like the modern movie star. Then I have Michael Keaton, John Krasinski, Brad Pitt, McAvoy, Fassbender, Emma Stone, Rachel McAdams, Amy Adams, Hugh Jackman, Haley Steinfeld. You know, that's kind of, you can listen to the podcast also if you want more, but that's kind of my general list. Which phase of the MCU movies is the best, most enjoyable to watch? Yeah, Phase 3 is winning here. It's hard to beat Phase 3. It's a little unfair because like that's the most like it has gotten more exciting as it goes. Then there are more crossovers and crazy stuff, and they're doing all these different things. Phase 3 also is by far the longest, I'm pretty sure. They all have good ones in there. I think Phase 1 is obviously great for what it is. In comparison to the later phases, it is a bit more, you know, generic origin movies, some of them, even though they have great stuff in there. And of course, there's some standout ones. And Phase 2, I think, yeah, it suffers a little bit from some of the more meh movies in there. Some of the ones that are like, they're good, but they're not like anything crazy. And then they do have like the really great ones like Winter Soldier and Guardians. And then Phase 3, yeah, just has so many kind of different ones, and there's more variety, and there's also, I guess, more consistency in the quality. Like there's so many really great ones. I guess you gotta go with Phase 3, even though it's kind of unfair. Sorry, Phase 1 and 2. Where do you think cinema is headed? Your prediction can range from anything such as it's dying out, growing through streaming services, shifting popular genres. Man. I mean, it's not really that insightful to say like streaming is the next big thing, but streaming has been the next big thing for a long time, and I just think the pandemic and the lockdown really sped up what would have happened anyway. I think I said this in a video where I talked about the HBO Max situation. I think there'll always be cinemas. I think that'll never leave us. But I do think it may become more niche. Not to the same extent of, like, niche-ness, but it may be a bit like how drive-through cinemas are now, or drive-in cinemas, where it's, like, something that, you know, people do, but it's not, like, super mainstream like it is now. I think, and by the way, this is, like, many years in the future. Like, I think this will happen gradually. Because people are always going to enjoy it, you know? And there are always going to be people like me who, like, their favorite place is the cinema. So I think it'll always be around, but I think it'll definitely decrease in popularity, and streaming and at-home stuff will become more popular just for the convenience of it, and as well as VR, I think is definitely gonna take off. I don't know about like interactive movies. I think people would rather play video games. Like that'll kind of stay as a bit of like a sort of obscure, like occasionally there'll be something like Bandersnatch, but it's not gonna be like mainstream. I definitely think VR could be the future if they figure out that technology. But I think it'll take a really long time for that to be like what it is now, you know, mainstream. I think there'll be a lot of blunders and a lot of really funny ones along the way where they haven't really figured out the technology. But I do think that's kind of where it's headed. There's a ton more to talk about. That would be a fascinating video to make. That's just kind of like my first thoughts. I started watching you when I was 9. Now I'm on drugs. JK lol. Would you ever collab with Soups? A lot to unpack there. Pretty cool that you've been watching since you were 9. I started making videos when I was 12. God, the years have gone by, haven't they? I'm glad to hear you're not on drugs. I don't know who Soups is. Sorry, no offense. This is like one of those like drama starting videos. It's like, I don't even know who that guy is. I literally don't. I mean, no offense to you. Maybe, who knows? But I do not know who that is. Favorite cold open from The Office? Oof, that is a tough one. Toby No, the Toby one is pretty iconic. I really do enjoy the Knock Knock one. That's quite funny. Gym prank related are always good. The Christmas one, the exercise ball one, and the opening dance scene from season 7. It's so delightful. It's so wonderfully delightful that that might be it. But I think genuinely, the Christmas one where Jim raps Dwight's stuff in Christmas rapping, it always, like, I've seen that episode like probably a dozen times with like family or friends, and it always, that moment always gets a huge laugh. Probably go with that. DC just announced a new comic series set in the same universe as BHL's favorite show, Justice League Unlimited. What? Yeah. Sorry, pardon my French. Okay, I will look into that. I've been waiting for, I say I've been waiting for stuff like in this universe, and I haven't even watched the movie that they made in this universe yet. I'm getting to it, alright? I've seen that clip where the Justice League theme comes on, and it's epic, and I love it, so I should watch that movie. I'll definitely check that out. Thanks for letting me know. See, boom, this Reddit is so useful for so many things, like just letting me know things I should know. Who's your favorite Avenger of the original 6? Ouch. Sucks to be Black Widow in this case. Yeah, I've said it before, Captain America was my favorite. And I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be a hipster about it, but even when he was super lame, and everyone thought he sucked, because everyone's like, oh, he's so lame, and he has a terrible suit. Okay, he did have a terrible suit. But his first movie, I loved it. I love that character. I love his earnestness. And even though Tony Stark is fun, and they're all quipping, and it's all fun, the guy is just a good dude. I love it. And he punches people, and he's got a shield. What is there not to love? BHL, you should make a Letterboxd account. I kind of have, sort of. I've started to set it up, but I thought I would actually make a video about it, like my first time using Letterboxd, to see maybe it's a lame video, I don't know. But since everyone has been asking me for so long, I thought it'd be fun to make. So look out for that in the future. Me kind of going through Letterboxd and figuring out what it is for the first time. Question: are you a fan of the Cosmonaut Variety Hour? Yeah, I mean, I guess it sounds kind of weird if I say yeah, because I can't even really remember what this is. But I think I've seen their thumbnails. I think I've seen those videos on the YouTube sidebar. I think I've clicked on a few, and I think I enjoyed it when I've seen them. I get a lot of those movie review kind of things mixed up sometimes. I think I've enjoyed them when I've seen them. To BHL and others, thoughts on Oscar 2021 winners? Yeah, talked about this. Sadness. But I am actually planning on making a video. I feel like I just am going to say, I'm making a video about this, and then I just never end up making it. I am planning on making these videos. Sometimes they don't work out, but at the moment I'm planning on making a video about Druk, aka Another Round, the best foreign film winner from Denmark. Denmark is where I live, if you didn't know. I have a lot of thoughts on it, so yeah, I'm happy that one won. Anyone a fan of Bo Burnham? Again, feels weird to say fan because I'm not a very hardcore fan. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff, but the stuff that I have seen is quite good, and I believe he directed 8th Grade, which was a fantastic film, quite emotional and heartfelt. And and I really respect what he's done. I think he started on YouTube, and then he's made it to making very emotional and great films, which maybe some other YouTubers want to do someday. Who knows? MCU movies tier list. Well, I don't agree with this, but appreciate you sharing. Except for the fact that Guardians isn't bad movies. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But yeah, not exactly what mine would look like, but I agree with a bit of this. BHL stand-up. Do you watch any stand-up? I thought you were going to say, are you planning on doing stand-up? And I was like, no. Why would you think I would do that? I don't watch a ton. I have seen Dave Chappelle's stand-up specials on Netflix, and they're absolutely hilarious and insightful and just clever, and it's a real, art form, Stand-up comedy can seem quite casual, just I guess because of the format, if you're just looking at it, but those seem like a real craft, how different stories tie together, how you hit a punchline to make people to make it as effective as possible, to make people laugh as much as possible. It's amazing to watch. He's a master at his craft, so I'd recommend those. I like how BHL has inherited parts of himself from Jim Halpert. He really reminds me of him, lol. Wow, well, thank you for giving me the greatest compliment you can give BHL Hudson, which is comparing me to Jim Halpert, which many people have told me that's very sad, that you see that as a compliment, and I say, I don't care. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, there was a part of my life where I did kind of try to act like Jim Halpert and not model my life after him, but when you're younger, I feel like everyone does this anyway, but especially when you're younger, you kind of, when you see a character you like in a movie or show, you kind of try to be more like them. I did that for a bit with Jim Halpert, and it definitely, genuinely, it did, I don't do that anymore, but it did give me certain personality traits and certain ways of looking at things that, have improved my life and are still with me, so, there's always that. But yeah, that was a funny time in my life. Even when BHL failed his short film, it reminded me of Jim's plans for his sports business in Philadelphia. In a couple years, he'll have a girlfriend, and he's going to remake the short film, and it's going to be an Office-like story, lol. Just trying to decipher this. Right, because this was written before my short film came out. So I think this is referring to, because I mentioned the 50K video, I tried to make a boxing short film, which I'll talk about more maybe someday, which didn't go very well. And then now I made a new one, which I guess he didn't know about when he wrote this. And I assume you're talking about how Jim's sports business didn't really work out, and then it eventually did work out. And I can't tell if you're saying that I'll have a girlfriend and then remake the short film, or Jim then had a girlfriend and then remake the short film. Not really sure why you've... Actually, it's understandable why you would assume I don't have a girlfriend, given, everything about this and this. But I do actually, shockingly. But hey, maybe I'll make it someday. You never know. That boxing short film, I was basically trying to make a 2-hour movie, like story and like character theme wise in like 20 minutes. And it would have been really poorly paced and kind of cringy. But maybe one day if I have the resources, who knows, you know? I don't know if you've seen The Outsiders, but I had to do homework for The Outsiders book. And one of the pages I had to recast for a reboot. And I put you in as one of the Outsiders. BHL Hudson as who? Steve Randy. I've not seen The Outsiders, but I'm assuming Steve Randy is the greatest, most likable, epic character. He's like the Jim Halpert of Outsiders, whatever Outsiders is. Watch it be like some disgusting alien monster or something. I appreciate being written down in a textbook. Actually, is that the British one? No, I'm thinking of something completely different. What are your thoughts on Megamind 2010? I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Of course I've seen Megamind. Megamind's actually very enjoyable. I remember for some reason not really enjoying it as a kid. I watched it recently, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good film. You know, obviously a lot of meme potential in there. It's a good time. Possible video idea, DreamWorks films ranked. Yeah, no, that video has been in the pipeline for about 4 years now, and I've gotten up to turbo in terms of films I've seen, so I have been marathoning them very, very, very slowly. Who knows, it'll probably come out in 2025, if I'm being realistic, but I'm up to turbo, alright? Ranking Spider-Man 1s. Homecoming's my personal favorite, but I can see why everyone loves the Raimi one. But yeah, Homecoming for me is the best, in my opinion. Focus the camera on my face, thank you. What's the better sitcom? I've seen a couple of episodes of Community. It was pretty fun. I've not seen 30 Rock. I've seen clips from It's All Sunny, but I haven't seen it. And I've seen maybe 2-3 seasons of Parks and Rec. So I guess I'll go with Parks and Rec by default, it's a pretty fun show. Greatest film of all time. Hey, BHL, seen Back to the Future. What are your thoughts on it? It's one of those movies where I think I've seen it. Like, I feel like I must have seen it. Like, it's one of those things that I think I've seen, like, on TV when I was a kid. But I haven't seen it where, like, I remember it. Like, I have thoughts on it, you know? Like, I know all the scenes, I know all the pop culture stuff that came from it, but I can't really give my thoughts on it because I haven't, like, seen it properly recently. What's the best season of The Flash? I think I stopped watching after season 4. Not because it was, like, terrible, although it did get a bit worse. I guess just lost my interest a little bit. I did enjoy season 1. I mean, I do remember really liking season 3, but also I feel like I watched that at a really good time in my life, and so I associate it with, like, what was happening at that time. I don't know, yeah, the whole show, you know, it's a bit silly and cheesy, and that's kind of the point, but I really liked it when I was younger, and nowadays, it doesn't really have my interest as much. So maybe I'll go with season 3, but season 1, yeah, it was fun. It's all cheesy fun, you know? Predictions for the future MCU. Latest rumor going around, 20 projects have been lined up for the future. So what are my predictions for the future? Yeah, because considering we have so many projects revealed, it's only like for the next couple of years. I think they're going to build up to another big villain, big team-up thing. Maybe it'll be, what's his name? He's going to be in Ant-Man 3. Kang the Conqueror, perhaps? I think it's going to go very dimension-heavy, and I think we're going to, we've already kind of said goodbye to the old guard. I think we're going to go kind of heavy on the new Avengers team with Falcon as Captain America, Mactin America, thank you very much. Spider-Man, seeing him kind of grow up and become an adult. And then these new characters, Eternal, Shang-Chi. I think it's going to all build to a new Avengers where it'll be cool again to see characters cross over because we haven't seen them before, you know, because they've now been newly introduced. Tie into the TV shows as well. And I think, yeah, that's going to be... TV shows are kind of smaller scale, fun adventures, and then there's going to be this overlying dimension plot thing for the next few films, and I think that's where it's going, and probably go forever, who knows, but if they wanted to cap it off... Nah, they would have capped it off with Endgame if they were going to do that. Yeah, I think we're just going to keep going and keep seeing kind of the natural progression of this stuff. Like, Peter Parker's going to get older and see where that goes. But a lot of dimension stuff is what I'm predicting. What's your favorite Netflix Marvel show? Definitely Daredevil. Most consistent. Yeah, just the best in pretty much every realm. That being said, Punisher and Jessica Jones definitely have their greatness to them. And I think Luke Cage is kind of underrated a little bit. Out of 26 episodes, I would say like 19 of them are really good. But it's no competition. It's Charlie Cox. Both were massively disappointing, but which was better, Spider-Man 3 or X-Men The Last Stand? These are both movies that I initially really didn't like, and as more time has passed, I feel like they're kind of not as bad as I thought. Like, they're okay-ish, but I don't know, yeah, X-Men The Last Stand, just kind of like just a weird feeling movie. Like, it's so different look-wise than the other two, and it just, like, it has great stuff in it occasionally, but it's just, yeah. Like, Spider-Man 3, genuinely, I feel like if you just changed a couple of things, it could be quite good. Plus, the dancing Maguire is just, it's, unbeatable. podcast anniversary recreation of podcast video from 3 years ago. Yeah, no, this is GC Green, who 3 years ago, God, time flies, made a little fun podcast video celebrating that he was mentioned in the podcast, and he recreated it now for our 4-year anniversary. Just a great thing. You can check it out if you want on the Reddit. Yeah, very funny. Thank you, GC Green. Made me weirdly nostalgic, you know, because I remember seeing that video back then, being like, damn, someone actually made something for the podcast. That's crazy. And now we have like fan art and a fan page. It's nuts. It's very fun. BHL and Oragairu. Hey BHL, in a future video, you should review Oragairu. I heard you talk about it in the Poorly Planned podcast, and it sounded like you've watched it. It interested me because I didn't think you were interested in a show like that. Well, now I feel bad because I have not watched it, and in fact, I don't know which podcast you listen to. I mean, on the podcast, Freddie and I have a bit of an ongoing joke that he mentions how he watches anime, and I kind of mock him for that, which, you know, is obviously a joke, because, I mean, I love superhero stuff, and it's just like, I'm just like, oh, you're such a nerd, even though, you know, we all love nerdy stuff. It's meant as a little bit of funny, but I've not seen it, no. I did end up watching a bit of One Punch Man because Freddie recommended it, and I did enjoy it, and I plan on watching more. So, you know, you never know. Maybe I'll be watching Oragairu, and Freddie will get the last laugh. My MCU tier list. Yeah, this is a bit closer to mine. I would definitely change a couple things, but yeah, this is sort of relatively similar to mine. Have you got Letterboxd? Like I said, planning on making a video about it. The Outsiders reboot. The Outsiders. This keeps coming up. Outsiders. Oh, it's not even a show, it's a movie. What was I thinking of? The In-Betweeners. That's what I was thinking of. Okay, I was way off. The Outsiders. Oh, I have heard of this. Yeah, okay. I am not familiar though with this, like, in detail. I'm a dude wearing a jean jacket with no sleeves. Hell yeah, dude. I could totally rock that in real life. Well, thank you for making this. Even though I'm not familiar with The Outsiders, I appreciate me being in a cast with Tom Holland. And is that Brenton Thwaites I see? No, that's Timothy Chalamet. BHL fun fact, it's that time of the month again. Did you know, judging by the history of BHL's videos, I guess it's the time for the BHL fun fact of the month. I see. My brain went somewhere. Anyway. He gave Netflix Defenders a 9 out of 10, and Scott Pilgrim a whopping 8.9 out of 10. This evidence shows the BHL liked Defenders over, yeah. Yeah, you know, ratings are tricky, because you know, they change over time, but also, they also change, like, even like a few days after, like when you've just seen it, then you may rate a certain thing and then you kind of digest it a bit, then it changes. Also, maybe like my leniency changes over time and like how I value certain things in a thing. And so it has led to some funny things where I look back and I think like, man, I think I gave Age of Ultron like a 9 out of 10 or something. Like, yeah, it's funny. It is funny to look at. So you have gotten me here. I'll give you that. The better HBO show. Watchmen, Chernobyl, Succession, Barry. I've not seen any of these except for the first episode of Barry, and it was quite good, so I'll give it to Barry. New Edgar Wright film. Yep, we talked about Last Night in Soho, and then the Last Night in Soho trailer is here as well. How does the Eternals trailer look? I thought it looked pretty good. I'm excited to see just like a new MCU thing. Like, it doesn't, the fact that I watched the trailer and I didn't really think like, how does this connect to the MCU, and then at the end I was like, oh, and it also is connected to everything. It's like a nice bonus instead of like what's driving it, which I think is exciting. And I also like the idea, I heard it's shot much less on green screen than a lot of other MCU films, and you can kind of see it in the trailer. I'm excited for that. There wasn't anything like too crazy in it. Cast is very good, but yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Looks good. Visually looks very good and less green screeny. Plus the concept is quite interesting. These like not everlasting, but eternal beings. Richard Madden and Kit Harington in the MCU. Gotta love that. But yeah, look good. Krasinski and Peele showing some Edgar love. Talent recognizes talent, right? Jim and Peele recognize talent. I don't know what I'm saying. That's cool though. Movie Warrior. I know I say, it's probably gonna become like a meme on this Reddit. I know I say all the time, like, I'll put it on the list, or I'm getting to it, or I'm gonna watch this. But Warrior genuinely is on my list, like, high priority, because it seems exactly like the kind of thing I'm into. I reckon you'd like it as a UFC fan. Yeah, it's an MMA movie, and it's apparently like just a great movie, but then also the fact that I like MMA, it'll probably be like kind of like Creed Rocky-esque, where like it's just a great movie, but then also if you like boxing, it's cool. So yeah, very high on the list. I've heard it's amazing, and MMA stuff. Yes, I'm here for it. Favorite Breaking Bad season. I know it might be an impossible task, but please just go along with it. I'm gonna go for season 3. and I'm outvoted. Damn. I like season 1 more than a lot of people. A lot of my friends say season 1's their least favorite. I think it's great. Season 2, definitely the worst season. It's still good, but a bit of a step down. Season 3 just had so many oh shit moments and like crazy stuff and extremely compelling character stuff, and just obviously 4 and 5 basically you can say the same about them, so those seasons are all great as well, but off the top of my head, season 3 is the one that I remember liking the most. And there you have it. Oh my god. We caught up with the Reddit. It nearly killed me. Yeah, thank you guys for posting all this stuff. I will try to make these more often because otherwise I end up doing this, which is probably gonna be like a 30-minute video. It may be a little tough because I am traveling the next month, but I'll do my best. Thank you so much for posting on it. See, even though it took a while, I have gotten around to it. I plan on keeping this going. It's very fun. Post stuff you want me to see, want me to talk about, and it's also just turned into like its own nice little community where you guys can post about different stuff and there are discussions about things. So yeah, BHL Hudson Reddit, it's in the description. So, thank you so much for watching. You can find me... That's my podcast outro. What is happening to me? That was my Reddit for this week. Thank you so much for posting on it. Be sure to like this video. Check out my Instagram and Twitter at BHL_Hudson. Check out this podcast that I do with a friend of mine where we talk about movies, TV shows, a bunch of nonsense. It's called The Poorly Planned Podcast. And subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.